there like other painting rituals or art rituals that the elites do that we don't know about? Or?
I think that they came completely out of the closet sometime in the mid 90s. There was a guy named Damien Hirst. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Cell with Jennifer Lopez? One of the most memorable scenes in that whole movie was this scene with the cow, where there's like a live cow and it says moo, and then this like glass enclosure drops down on it and it spreads apart. So you see the inside of the cow all sliced up while it's alive. Well, that was based on an art series by Damien Hirst, who basically did that with sharks, he did with cows, he did with a bunch of different animals. This was like the original shock art of the world. This was a new guy coming into a gallery surrounded by, you know, medieval art and all sorts of artwork from the masters. If you look into some of his other artwork, it gets much darker and much more specific on some of the topics.
Las distracciones y narrativas reinan este mundo tecnológico. Todos tienen una opinión de lo que es la verdad y lo que es mentira. ¿Quién controla el mundo? ¿Los aliens son real? ¿Vivimos en un Matrix? Estas preguntas serán debatidas con José y Daniel G, explorando y descubriendo las verdades de nuestro mundo, nuestras creencias y nuestro reality. Welcome to Cultura Truth Project.
Dímelo, mi gente. Welcome back. It's another one. Otro episodio. Estamos de vuelta. Cultura Truth Project. Jose G, Daniel G. Dímelo, mi gente. What's up, bro?
Oh, man, it's another beautiful day in DFW. It was a hot one, too, man. Woo! But, hey, we're here. We're alive. We're blessed. Another beautiful day, man.
There you go, bro. Yeah, I was storming over here today, man. It was bad. It was really bad. The visibility, I couldn't see in front of me at all. But guys, we got another great show for you today. Thank you for joining us. We got a really cool guest returning to the show today. We got Thomas, the Paranoid American. He'll be joining us. We're going to be talking all sorts of stuff today. We're going to be talking HAARP. We're going to be talking that pink Aurora Borealis. We're going to be talking the Diddy situation and that Lucian Grainge guy, and yeah, but we're gonna cover it all, man. But how's your week been, man?
Bro, you know, adjustment, working from home is a different deal. Finding my new balance in life, you know what work-life balance looks like for me now is a little different than it was even 2-3 weeks ago. So it's just a new thing, you know, getting everything back in order. I do want to apologize to the YouTube people or the audio people if this is coming out a little late. I've been behind, but don't worry about it. Everything's going to be coming out and be up to date by the time you hear this. So you're going to be ready to go for the next episodes, guys. But other than that, guys, don't forget, and because you didn't mention it yet, but Supporters Club. If you
I haven't done any of my plugs yet, so we'll get to that in just a moment. But let's bring on our guest. He's returning to the show.
Bring it on.
Comic book artist, podcaster, musician. He's a jack of all trades.
Stand-up comedian, apparently.
Huh?
Stand-up comedian, apparently, too.
Yeah. And he deciphers and points out who's Illuminati and who's not. Let's bring him on. It's Thomas, the Paranoid American.
What up, bro? Since we're doing plugs early, paranoidamerican.com. Go ahead and buy your stuff now. There. My plug came before your plug, so you should buy my stuff before you buy your stuff.
Yeah, there you go, bro. Yeah, paranoidamerican.com. And
I'm not even mad at it. Can't hate on it.
Paranoid on all socials, guys.
And if
guys,
you use the promo code TEX, TEX, you'll get a free Freemason sticker.
There you go. Oh, speaking of, I got one of them right over here. I got boom right there. Look at that beautiful thing. All sorts of good stuff. Guys, make sure you follow us on all socials on YouTube, Rumble, Cultura Truth Project. Follow Gonzalez Media TV, Facebook, Instagram, at Gonzalez Media TV. Subscribe to the podcast on all major platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. Leave us a 5 5-star review, and support the show on the Supporters Club, Spreaker, $3 a month. We got the link in the description. Audio only content that you can't get on YouTube, you can't get on Rumble, you can't get anywhere else. Only on the Supporters Club on Spreaker. Son tres pesitos, cheaper than a cup of coffee. So make sure you do that. Link in the description. Appreciate
I
it.
usually wait for the torrent to come out. So can I just download the torrent after somebody else signs up and downloads it and re-uploads it?
Open up that dusty ass
didn't-
LimeWire from like
I didn't know
2002.
I didn't know torrent files were still a thing anymore. Honestly, I know they exist, and I know they're probably going to infect your computer with a computer HIV. But
Exist. Or I mean, yeah. So if anyone does download those, put it on like archive.org or something.
Thomas, welcome back to the show, bro. How you been? What's going on? What's new? What could catch us up?
Yeah, we're good, man. I mean, we just did the Chosen One comic issue 2. We just raised. See, we're working on like all 6 at the same time right now, but we just did the campaign for 2. It blew out of the water. It was like raised 400%, so 4 times more than we expected it to raise. So that one immediately fast tracked issue 3 and a bunch of others coming out. Shout out to Juan Ayala. I think you've had him on here a couple times. That's his book, The Chosen One. And then it immediately started 3 days after that one ended. I started my next comic project, which we were talking about earlier. It's called adultoccult.com. The actual name is Illuminati. And this is a all adult series. And it's been controversial. It's been really controversial, actually.
Adult Illuminati.
The Illuminati. Make sure you guys check it out.
Oh, naughty.
And I got so many more coming out after this. Literally every single comic after it drops, it's got a month to raise what it needs to raise to get printed or not. And then within 3 to 4 days after that ends, I got another one coming out. And that's going to be the rest of this year. So the next one up
busy.
It's a NASA comic about Stanley Kubrick. The one after that might be one with I'm working on Donut. We're working on a little Illuminati pamphlet that breaks down the Bavarian Illuminati. So we got a whole bunch of them coming out, probably even through next year.
I wonder if at some point we got to collaborate and do a CTP Cultura Truth Project comic.
I'm down, dude. I mean the prices. I'll spitball them out here. I'm not a gatekeeper. So for the pamphlets, they run around like $800 to $1,000 all in. For the first versions of Chosen One, it was like $3,000 to $4,000, depending on how picky you want to be. And then for a traditional comic, right now with page rates, they hover around like $6,000. So if any of those things don't make you flinch too hard, like anyone can make a comic. Yeah, I mean they're all, none of them are free, right?
I'm not. No, not right now. But let's do things. Let's do things. It's in my vision board.
I'm waiting on my tax refund.
No. It's in my vision board. It's behind the computer. It's in my vision board. It's gonna happen. Don't worry about it, people. It's coming.
Well, that's why these crowdfund campaigns are so incredibly important, though, because if I release a comic and just put it on the store and I say, hey, there's this comic up here. They trickle in a little bit, but you might get, a $5 sale, $10 sale here and there. But when you do these crowdfund campaigns, literally without them being successful, the comic wouldn't even exist. So if the backers don't get it, then nobody gets it. And I think that mentality, people really want to come together and support and like, well, I want this thing to exist. So yeah, I'll grab one. And that's usually how these big projects can even happen, because it takes thousands, not tens and 15s here and there.
That's awesome.
Been on the Illuminati adultoccult.com. Has it been a good response? Has it been mixed? What's going on?
So my existing readers, maybe not the greatest response. In fact, I might have lost a whole bunch of people. I might have even burnt a number of bridges that I wasn't expecting to burn just from having it be adult oriented content. Regardless of anything else. And this is before it's even come out. And I just want to say right now too, that anyone that ended up unfollowing or like stopped liking me because of this one, I've got 2 that are coming up after this that are way worse, like 10 times worse than anything that's coming. So that part's been interesting. But also at the same time, the whole idea for this concept was that I got a distributor that puts my books in the actual brick and mortar comic shops, which it's a whole conversation on its own. But he was telling me that, for example, I got a book called Frazzle Drip Funhouse that's like about horror and it's about Frazzle Drip, so it gets into like some adult topics, and he's telling me I got to put your books into the adult section anyway, and there's two types of books that sell in the adult section. One of them is real like hardcore horror, like over the top gore horror, and the other one are these adult books, you know, with like pinup girls in them. And he was like, I'm already putting your books in that section, but you don't have the ones that sell the most, and the ones that sell the most are like more of the pinup adult books. And I was like, well, I can do that, you know. In fact, you know, I've got some stories already in mind, and I can just turn that dial up a little bit more than I was going to, and that gave birth to this adult occult thing. And it has worked out because yeah, there's a market out there that I don't even have to like find. Like they come and they find it. So this could end up being like an actual from day one profitable comic series where now I don't have to worry about convincing people to get on board of like a crazy idea. Like I could just be like, yo, I'm going to draw boobies. And people are like, here's the money. And then I can take the money and then make something really cool with it. So I don't know. It's shifted the whole dynamic.
Well, what do you think? Where do you think is the hate coming from your traditional followers? Like, truthers are big on free speech and doing all this stuff. And hey, let me do what I want to do. This is what's happening. Like, let's talk about it. But when you do, what you're doing as an artist is making yourself sustainable, right? Like, it's like this, like as a comedian, right? I've had to take gigs that I didn't want to do because I needed to be sustainable. I needed to make a living. Look, sounds like that's very similar to what you're doing, even though you're doing it in a creative way. But why do you think you're getting so much hate for it right now?
Well, and I do want to do this. It's not like something that I didn't want to do, like twisting my arm. It was just more like I'm really deeply involved in like the political aspect of a lot of conspiracy theories and stuff, but those are really hard stories to tell, and I already know that it's a niche within a niche within a niche versus here's just another format. Right now it's like I can do adult comics and inject the exact same conspiracies, the exact same research, all the same like information that I'm trying to get out, and now it's just going to a completely different market that was never going to look at my other comics ever, and now they are. And in fact, I might actually be able to like reach somebody. They might think, oh, what a hot pinup comic, and walk away like, wow, 9/11 was an inside job. Like if I can do that, right, there's something to what I'm doing. So I don't know, that's that wasn't the answer to your question. So ask your question again. But that was
no,
that
like
was
where do you think your hate is coming from? Because you know, you mentioned that you're losing followers and stuff. What is it? Is it like
so
the conservative aspect of the truther community?
I think it's just like a puritanical crowd on two different fronts. And some like, so I've got some people that I lost favor with that are still cool with me, but like let me know why I kind of like crossed the line. And then I've got people that just got angry and you know, lashed out and unfollowed and told other people to unfollow and all this stuff. So the people that are just getting randomly upset, I feel like there's a couple different versions of them, but there's a really strong right-wing / conservative / pro-Christian angle to conspiracy theory crowd in general, because what's the ultimate conspiracy? That Satan's behind everything and he's tricking us constantly, which is very much makes Christians sort of like the proto conspiracy theorists, at least in like modern America. So I think that there's a lot of people in the conspiracy crowd that we all run in the same circles. We all believe a lot of the similar things. We're interested in the same things. But this is one of those lines where it's like, oh, but like, I don't believe in anything sexual in media. Like, don't draw it. Don't talk about it. Don't put it in movies. I don't let my kids watch it. And I think it's hypocritical, but I think that's where a large part of it's coming from. And it's almost like if they don't shun me publicly, or, you know, like, oh, that's like, you don't want to have me on after you've just had some pro-Christian author on that you're all talking about how much pornography is, you know, destroying society. And then it's like, and our next guest who's got this 100 pages of naked, you know, Statue of Liberty, like banging national monuments. I don't know. It feels like
here's the thing, and this is my I guess opinion on the matter, right? Because it's an unfair thing as an artist for you, and you know that I always advocate for the artist no matter what content, period. But it's an unfair thing for the conspiracy theory space to censor itself the way that it does, because all of a sudden it's like, what's more important, to get the message out or to hold your values? right? Like I get if you as a person, as an individual, say, hey, I don't watch porn because I believe it's bad for myself. But that's my belief, right? That's my personal belief. But I believe that there should be art out there that does and pushes the envelope to get a message out. Do I have to agree with it? No, but I believe it should be out there. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say, hey, I'm gonna subscribe to, the adult occult. It's not my thing.
Well, that was the agreement. That's the only reason I'm here is that Jose guaranteed me that
You broke the agreement, Danny.
I'm backing that on a contractual agreement. Okay. Look, I will subscribe, but I will not watch. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll buy it for the articles.
Promo code linked in the description.
But I mean that brings up a question that's I've been kind of battling against now. That like, where is that line, right? What is the line where art, and this is such a tired debate. And if you go and watch the People versus Larry Flint, he makes a good case, even though he is kind of a degenerate. And I hope I'm not comparing myself to Larry Flint anyway. But the idea though being that if it's artwork, let's just remove actual people from this, right? If I sit down here and I draw, I've got a birthday card here, but if I drew a little stick figure, just a stick figure, right? And I was like, that dude's naked. You know what I mean? Is that pornography yet? And I'll say no, because it's an easy question. So then I'm like, okay, and I draw little circles, and I'm like, okay, now it's a naked girl, and you can see her boobs. Is that pornography yet? Oh, we're already getting a little bit too spicy, right?
Sir, first of all, how can you assume the gender of the stick figure? Okay,
because I'm creating
all the 50 different genders that exist now. I mean, how do we know?
Sir, it's an illustration. Okay, an illustration has no gender.
It's genderless.
But the point being is that if you keep following that annoying line of reasoning, but where the rubber meets the road is usually when it starts to look realistic enough to depict something. So like if I draw two stick figures on top of each other, that's not going to offend anybody, even if I know that they're banging, like they're doing the grossest thing right now. I just can't draw that in enough detail. But if I sit down and I start fleshing it out, like at what point, if there was someone over your shoulder and they were like, and now it's porn, you know what I mean? And now it's no longer able to be shown to people without mosaic filters or with disclaimers or with like entering your ID in order to see it. But I don't know. It's a weird sort of situation to be in.
Nobody told the Japanese this.
Right? Well, yeah, with their hand. So I mean, is your artwork at adult occult like hentai type of anime artwork?
There's one.
Is it a little bit more toned down?
So there's 8 different stories. One of the stories is basically like hentai looking artwork. It's got like the anime style, and this one's called The Spiritual and Sexual Awakening of Mary Todd Lincoln.
Jesus.
And it's about she invites the Fox sisters over, which are the 3 sisters, and they end up having a foursome that turns into a 5-some when they summon an astral being. And then Abraham Lincoln comes home, so it turns into a 6-some.
So there's like a whole lot of sex magic happening in this episode.
But you see Danny's response, like that's why this exists. That's the whole reason that the story.
I mean, that shit's wild. Don't get me wrong, bro. But it's like,
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Abe Lincoln was semi-gay. I'm sorry for all the Republicans that listen to this.
That's in there though, because he shows up and he sees the hot spirit dude banging these 4 chicks, and he's like, "I want in on that."
Let me get in on that. I'll be honest.
He's like, I'll be honest. I'll wrestle you. First one to come wins.
Who wants a German suplex?
It's all different art styles and all different levels of depravity. Great. But you were also like, where were the Japanese in on this? Well, guess what? There's also a story where it's like Eyes Wide Shut, but then when they go to eat, and this was inspired by my favorite scene in the movie Beetlejuice, which is one of my favorite movies, where they open up the little like trays and the shrimp things grab everybody by the. So it's that, but the shrimp things, it's not a hand, it's something else, and it comes up and it ends up having its way with everyone at the party. And the concept is that everyone shows up once a year to this dinner ball, which is inspired by Eyes Wide Shut and the Surrealist dinner ball. And they all just get banged by these shrimp tentacles once they reveal the thing. And that's the annual party.
I'm sorry, Thomas. The Cultura Truth Project
Can
council.
no longer have you on here. Thank you. It's been great. It's too
Dude.
much.
Bro, man, keep doing what you're doing, man. You got a spot with us anytime. And here's the thing, like, it's ridiculous, right? Like it's obviously it's art and it's ridiculous. And are you plugging in some of the truth or conspiracies and stuff? Yeah, keep doing it, man.
Because it happens at the Rothschild Mansion, and we mention it at the Rothschild Mansion. So you're getting a lesson in something that's really maybe happening, but yeah, it's like sprinkled in there.
So what you just said about like that Beetlejuice scene that you have in your new comic book, it reminded me of this show. So this is show. Have you ever seen Man Seeking Woman with Jay Baruchel? It used to be on
Yes.
FX.
Yeah. Every
this
episode was like its own little mini thing.
Yes. So there's this episode in there where he's dating like this hot chick, and his girlfriend has a friend from Japan. His name is Tanaka, but Tanaka is a penis alien, a penis monster. Like literally. Yeah, this shit is so fucking crazy, bro.
I can't be on here with you guys if you're going to be talking about this kind of filth.
This is wrong.
I mean, look at this, bro. Look at this. I mean, it has eyes, and then each tentacle is
a penis.
It's a penis, is a dick.
Oh,
See, is this going to get you censored now on YouTube, even though they probably had this clip when they were promoting it on YouTube?
They haven't done
just
anything
do
yet.
a
I'm too
mosaic.
small for them, so they don't care about me right now.
Just mosaic it.
I'll
Jose.
get away with it.
Just mosaic it, Jose. Just be fine. It'll be.
They'll hit you with that strike in like 6 years from now. You'll be like, "What the hell?"
He's like, "Oh, you're
like we went over all your
2031. Your video from
penis monster." I don't remember talking about a penis monster.
This is Google
as nudity.
Telling you that you cannot do nudity on our show. Thank you.
You know, since we were talking about conspiracies and stuff like that. So last week there was an event that was seen worldwide. It was the Aurora Borealis. It got all the way down to Florida. There was people in Australia seeing this phenomena. It was pink, it was gray and green. And I didn't get to see it. Did you get to see it?
No, it was raining.
No, it was raining over there. Did you get to see it, Thomas?
I don't leave.
I didn't see shit. But anyways, so apparently there's people in the conspiracy space that are saying that these lights were fake, that it was all a hoax due to HAARP. So this one's on Yahoo, because I have the opposite story. Said that this lady said, what'd she say on here? And then she has it. She put it down on Twitter or something like that. That I hope you guys enjoyed the fake light show or something like that. But the reason that she's saying that it's fake, because HAARP was doing a test during the same time period that this Aurora Borealis was going down. Now, apparently, according to HAARP, that when they do the testing, it does trigger sometimes the Aurora Borealis. However, now they're saying that this test, and this came from HAARP, that the solar storm, not HAARP, created the intense auroral display. So I don't know, because there's been a lot of conversation around HAARP, how they can manipulate the weather. We've heard conversations how HAARP can create hurricanes and storm cells. I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe here. I just know that millions of people across the globe saw this phenomena, so it's kind of hard for me to believe that HAARP's test just did this on purpose. But another part of me is like, what if, bro? I don't know. What do you think, Thomas?
So I went deep into HAARP in the early 2000s, and I've seen almost every documentary and read every book about HAARP. It's been in a bunch of my comics. So I guess as a refresher, in case anyone doesn't know what HAARP is, it's essentially this huge antenna array where they've got a bunch of high-powered satellites, and they focus all of those satellites to beam energy at one specific place in the ionosphere. And this is one of many of the experiments that they do. The whole thing is that, hey, we've got a bunch of expensive, powerful satellites. What can we do with this? That's essentially HAARP in a nutshell. But the thing that we're talking about, where they like manipulate the weather, there's a lot of things they can do with it. Space is fake. that they all focus on this very specific point in the ionosphere, and that they can heat it up, and it's almost like lighting a lighter under a piece of like saran wrap or something. Like it'll get very, very loose, and then it'll break apart, especially if it's stretched out, and they can actually create like holes in the ionosphere. And what this does is it can let some of the outside UV and some of like the solar flares, maybe it can get through into our atmosphere because they've kind of opened up this little doorway. And the other thing is that it can shrink back down again. They can close the holes. And I'm oversimplifying a little bit because it's not exactly a hole. It's just that the density is so spread apart from heating it up that it can kind of change the normal physics of this certain part of the ionosphere. So in addition to weather manipulation, because you're actually letting in more of like, it's like if you leave the door open and you got the AC running inside and your dad's like, what are we air conditioning the neighborhood? That's kind of like what HAARP is doing at a much grander level, right? But
Cierra la puerta. No deje el aire que salga.
That's my father right there.
No somos los Rockefeller.
We're not the Rockefellers.
There's other stuff that you can do with that loosened density of the ionosphere, and one of the examples is scrambling comms or even misdirecting it. So for example, if you believe in the world is a sphere, just go with this for this one explanation of HAARP. But if you believe the world is round, then what they can do is you can bounce a signal that you need to get to the other side of the world. And instead of having to set up a bunch of relays, you can basically bounce it off the ionosphere so that you shoot it to where you've got line of sight, and then it can bounce and hit another place that you don't have line of sight of. Pretty typical use of like reflections and stuff. But the thing is that if you know where a certain signal is bouncing and you heat that spot up, well, now you can like change the density. So now it's not going to hit the original intended target. So you can almost like redirect comm satellites if you can use HAARP to do this. So those are just two examples among probably thousands or more of what kind of things that this HAARP can do. Now, when it comes to the Aurora Borealis, I don't think that the one HAARP station out in Galcona, Alaska by itself would have caused worldwide visible phenomena. So there are multiple HAARP stations, but I still don't think. I think HAARP does its own thing, and I don't think that they would have that much power and then say, hey, look, entire world, look what we can do. I don't think it works that way. I think it makes way more sense that space is fake, but it makes way more sense that they would time whatever they're testing with these extreme solar flares, because that's the whole thing, is they're trying to see what happens when they let the outside in or when they let the inside out. And what better time to do that when there's going to be record solar flares. So it's not that HAARP caused the Aurora Borealis, but it's not a coincidence that they happen to be running their experiments the same time that was happening, because that's what they do. So of course you would want to run your experiments.
Now, there's been also some other phenomena during this Aurora Borealis. A lot of UFO sightings, bro. Tons of UFO sightings during this Aurora Borealis. This guy Casper Sight on YouTube, he just recently did a reaction video to a bunch of footage that came out. And a lot of it was in Australia. There was some of it, I believe, in Southern California. But there was this really, really weird one where it was the Aurora Borealis, and then there was like this spiral light just moving across the sky, and it's wild. But Danny, what do you think about this, bro?
Okay, so we all know HAARP is a real program. We all know it's real. They're not. It's an open secret, I guess. It's the thing. Man, I didn't see the Aurora Borealis, so to me, it never happened.
Same here. Same here.
So it's like this. Like, if people are saying these things, man, like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because it's like, so you saw some cool lights in the sky. Does it matter if it was man-made or not? It was freaking cool. Just take a picture, post about it, you know? Like, at the end of the day, you know, space is fake. Space is fake. At least according to the truther community. You know, space is fake. And it's one of those things where I look at it and I'm like, what scares me about HAARP and some of this weather manipulation technology and what they've been able to do is, I don't know if you guys saw this article that a couple weeks ago, there was massive flooding in Saudi Arabia because of man-made weather manipulation. That's technology completely derived from HAARP. That's scary. That's more scary to me than seeing some extra lights in the sky. I'm like, oh, so you're telling me, so if the government gets kind of mad at Florida, they're just gonna like completely cloud seed a Category 5 hurricane and take it out? Or they're gonna say it's like, hey, let's take out Houston. It's a thing. I don't know. It's
Cloud seeding's been around forever, and it way predates HAARP. Like, we've been doing cloud seeding since, depending on who you talk to, but like the early 1900s, 1930s, 40s. But there's even, you can go right now on YouTube and look at real news reports on cloud seeding in Texas, because in certain areas where it gets really dry, there's people's entire job where like they get paid to look for storm clouds that like might turn into something but also might not, and those are the perfect ones that you can go and seed them, and like they actually get paid by the number of clouds and the number of amount of time they can go out in the sky and seed these clouds, and they produce this rainwater that otherwise wouldn't have happened. So this is a real job that people have. It's not conspiracy theory related, and it's not like trying to flood people out. So the technology exists to seed clouds and make it rain when it otherwise wouldn't. So none of that is even conspiratorial.
anymore. Anymore. Get it right. Anymore.
So this is the video from Casper Site on YouTube. So shout out to Casper Site. He put out this reaction video to some of the footage that was put up on TikTok and on Instagram. And so check this one out, bro. So this is like some of the sightings that we're seeing. And I think this one was in Australia.
Aurora, I really don't.
There's this thing right
Anybody
here.
know what this light is? It's seen in multiple places.
We're reacting
in
to a
Denmark.
reaction.
Oh,
I know,
so
right?
This is different camera angles.
How meta is that?
Yes,
It just looks like the fireworks display at Disney.
Yeah, it just basically that's what it looks like. But then there's this
That's
other
wild.
one. It's a little bit further
Look at
down.
that.
That's a little weird. I don't know what that is.
Reflection.
Yeah, those are
And
more, but there's a spiral one
with
that
a
looked
mirrored
really,
lens.
really wild. There it is.
Shocked onlookers across the globe. I thought this was fake at first, but this
There it is. Look at that.
hasn't got audio.
Yeah, that's just a slide. But there's that's just
That
is that a
thing
ship?
real.
Is that a light? What the hell is that, bro? I should over Alaska.
But
So maybe that was HAARP that produced some
is
shit
it
like that. I don't know,
thing
man.
that came back
That shit
again?
is wild. So I don't
It's
know.
in
All
Alaska,
sorts of stuff
Galcona,
popping up.
Alaska.
All sorts of stuff popping up during this Aurora Borealis. Almost like all sorts of stuff popping up during the solar eclipse. I don't know. Something's going on, bro.
Well, you know what else
Something's
too, though, just to explain at least a small portion of that, is that when there's something going on in the sky that's not normal, you've got way more people that are like looking at the sky for way longer than normal. So there's a chance that all these UFO and like UAPs that people were seeing during the Aurora Borealis are happening every single day, but just people aren't caring because it's like any other night.
So what's gonna happen next? Like, are they gonna do another crazy Aurora Borealis test and we're gonna just figure out that aliens are real or something?
I mean, I don't know, man, because like one part of it is like Project Bluebeam, like where they're gonna stage like the fake alien invasion. Like they've been ramping up more alien stuff since last year, right? Like Dona did a breakdown that last year was like the year of the rabbit, and there's this rabbit alien connection, and we saw it in commercials. We saw it like during the Super Bowl. There are all these commercials with aliens and rabbits included. So it's very weird. But then throughout the year, there was like the alien disclosures, the UAP disclosures, a lot more sightings, and now we have this going on. So I again, I don't know. I want to believe that aliens are real. I want to believe that UFOs are real. But like, where are you at on this, Thomas? Are you a believer? Do you believe that UFOs are real and aliens are real, or do they come from the sea, from inside the Earth, or do they come from outer space?
I think C. If we have to pick one of the two, I would definitely say C over space. And this is probably one of my more boring aspects of being like a fake conspiracy theorist, is that like I'm not really big on aliens, because either they're smart enough to fly all the way here and have the resources, but then they're dumb enough to actually interact with humanity, which would be no, like, I explain to me what benefit an alien race that is so far advanced that they can get here what would they get from us? Like, what could we possibly offer them? And don't tell me like the human spirit and true love. Like,
No.
this isn't the
I
brain.
know.
No. I think it's the same reason people own ant farms. If they are coming here from another world, it's to look. I don't
Right,
think
but then you're just gonna see a big finger come down and poke at you. You're not even gonna see the whole alien. You know what I mean? Like,
but at the end of the day, right? Like if aliens do come from the ocean, that's just one thing that it's the conclusion. And I go back to saying,
well, dude, look at whale. I mean, again, this is it's crazy that like you have to do disclaimers in conspiracy world. Just like if you believe the world is round. Well, here's another one. If you believe in evolution, if you believe in dinosaurs, right? But the Rockefeller MK Ultra brainwash theory of evolution is that whales came out of the sea, went on land, chilled for a while, and they were like, you know what? The sea was way doper, and they went back into the sea. So there's absolutely
that makes sense though.
That there could be like a human, right, that left the water, stayed human on land, and then jumped back into the water and was like, we're going to do this again. That's not out of the realm of possibility because it's already happened in the mammal family.
Or was it that the whales came to Earth and they were like, fuck this, we're going back?
Fantasia
like,
2000,
they were like,
bro.
this is too much work. I can just float everywhere.
I don't know. But I think we got to call it Ghostbusters, guys.
Why?
Why? Oh, I got to tell you exactly why. Here we go. Y'all remember watching Ghostbusters 2?
See, I love Ghostbusters, but I don't think I believe in ghosts, man. I've tried the hardest.
I get it, but like this is not Ghostbusters 2 isn't necessarily about a ghost, it's about like interdimensional beings.
Fair point.
Okay. But like, are we like getting ready to like bring about some sort of apocalypse with this portrait of King Charles III?
What the fuck, yo?
I mean, bro, like
looks like Vigo.
His
name is Vigo.
I'm saying, like, what are we doing here? Like, do we gotta call Dr. Aikman or something? Because this is ridiculous, bro. Look at this. Look, bro. I don't know. I know this has to be like a fan made thing, but this is creepy.
Click on that. Click on that.
Yeah.
So are we getting ready? What do you think this is all about? What's with this?
Dude, have you seen the clip of him unveiling it and he gets scared because when he pulls
Oh,
dude, they have him reveal it,
that.
and when he pulls it, like he gets he shows pure terror in his face because he thinks that this veil is gonna land on him and take him out or something. Like this guy is literally looking over his shoulder everywhere he goes, which is nuts to see. Like I can't remember in the last year when I've been as scared as Prince Charles is as he reveals his own painting. How wild
hilarious.
is his life right now that this is terrifying him?
Wait, Jesus!
Have you seen it, Danny?
I have not. Hopefully Jose finds it.
I got it right here.
You got it
right here.
It's real quick, but just look at his face. Like do an instant replay.
Hold on, let me back it up.
This is fair use, guys.
Whoa. Get the frame where he's like flinching hard. Like you would like this is like you get hit twice because you flinch so hard. You know what I mean? That's the rule, right? It's like right as it's coming down, bro. He's like terrified of this thing.
Don't play no sound. Don't play no sound. Oh,
they almost cut. I've seen a longer
jump,
cut,
bro.
You're like, oh shit.
He's like, what?
I
wonder if he was scared more of the cloth coming down or of his painting or both.
All I'm saying, dude, is that like I haven't been that afraid of anything in over a year, and this is him unveiling his own painting. They've probably practiced this before. It's all about him. He's got security. What is on this guy's conscience that unveiling his own painting triggers this amount of terror in him?
Well, what do you think? Okay, I don't know. But I'm sure it's the fact that he probably murdered Princess D. That's a conspiracy theory. I'm not accusing.
Had her murdered, sir.
Okay, had her. Okay, allegedly had her taken out via car accident. But my whole thing is it's the painting itself is creepy. I mean, with your Illuminati eyes, What do you think is this whole red thing? Only his face is showing. What's the deal there, man?
Well, I mean, there's obvious like the blood and hellfire. There's also, isn't there a butterfly over his right shoulder?
Hold on, let me pull it back up for you.
Our
I
left.
got it.
I got it.
See, I haven't. This was just unveiled like today or yesterday, and I haven't been able to go through with a fine tooth comb and see who's like added AI elements to it. But yeah, if you look over our left, but his right shoulder, that's a little butterfly. And since he's a monarch, I would venture to say it's a monarch butterfly. It would be hard to tell because the red hue basically defines the whole painting. So you can't look for the typical colors of a monarch butterfly, but it would make all the sense in the world if that's what it is. So now you've got this Project Monarch connection to it, which might be like below the level of Prince Charles here, but whoever painted it might be in on some of these, like some of the inside jokes or like inside conspiracy theories. Like there's a rumor that one of my friends, David Charles Plate, he's got this theory that Marina Abramovic, you know, the spirit cooking lady, and she's seen with like all these royals and Drake and the Rothschilds.
Isn't that the lady that did the painting with her period blood or whatnot?
Correct. Well, not just one, like all of them, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does that and a lot more. But he's got this theory that she might be trolling these high level elites, like making them paint with her period blood and making them like do weird spirit cooking rituals and parties to like out them, whereas she's like all below it, like she's kind of trolling them. And now this is a very niche theory. I don't know if I give it credit.
It
but
makes sense. It makes sense.
It could make sense. And if you believe that she could ultimately be trolling all these people that she gets in as its own form of performance art, the same way that this painting could potentially be like trolling Prince Charles, because it's like the artiest thing to do. So therefore they're actually putting real information into it, and it shocks him. He's terrified of it. He's like, oh my God, are you revealing what's really going on? Like,
no, you're not supposed to do this.
Yeah. It's just a theory, right? That this artwork isn't revelation of the method for Charles. It's like revelation of the method in spite of Charles.
Now, I mean, yeah, so we got the spirit cooking aspect of it with Marina Abramovic, but are there like other painting rituals or art rituals that the elites do that we don't know about, or that's lesser known?
I think that they came completely out of the closet sometime in the mid 90s. There was a guy named Damien Hirst. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Cell with Jennifer Lopez? Of course you guys have. Come on.
Yeah.
Look who I'm talking to. One of the most memorable scenes in that whole movie was this scene with the cow, where there's like a live cow and it says moo, and then this like glass enclosure drops down on it and it spreads apart. So you see the inside of the cow all sliced up while it's alive. Well, that was based on an art series by Damien Hirst, who basically did that with sharks. He did it with cows. He did it with a bunch of different animals. And it was like the original. Yeah, this is right here. This is like the original shock art of the world. This was a new guy coming into a gallery surrounded by, medieval art and all sorts of artwork from the masters. And it's like, here's a dead cow, here's a dead shark. And it kind of disrupted the industry. Well, if you look into some of his other artwork, it gets much, much darker and much more specific on some of the topics. And if you also look into some of his very first patrons, it includes the like of the Podesta brothers. Like, they were early patrons of his artwork. In fact, I think one of the biggest ones he had, it was either Christie's or Sotheby's. I think it was at Christie's. And he sold something in his Dots series.
What
that's
the
named
hell
after,
is that?
Yeah, that's so when you're asking like, what are they doing behind the scenes? Like, what's the magic? Like, here you go, man. They don't do it behind the scenes anymore. They do it out in public because it's kind of been accepted as pop culture now, as recent as the 80s/90s.
Dude, look at this. This is weird.
That is wild, bro.
I'm gonna stop sharing before some bad juju comes through the screen. Oh my god,
For real,
dude. Oh
yeah.
Lord.
So I don't think there's anything that's hidden from the public at this point. I think it's all done out in public.
Well, someone who's getting all their shit out in public right now, Diddy, man. Diddy got his house raided. A lot of accusations coming out against him. He's got a connection there with Lucian Grainge from Universal Music Group. Then we had that beef a few weeks ago with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and Kendrick Lamar calling out Drake for being, for Lucian Grainge being Drake's sugar daddy and all sorts of stuff. This is wild, dude, because it kind of the people are comparing now Diddy to Jeffrey Epstein, right? And kind of like what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. There's a lot of reports of the freak offs that were happening at the party, and apparently that Lucian Grainge was there was someone who was accusing him of financing all of these freak offs and parties and whatever.
Oh, that ain't free, bro. Someone's got to.
I know, right? But today, I think yesterday, there was a report that came out in the lawsuit that his name and Universal Music Group have been dropped from the lawsuit. So I kind of wonder what happened behind the scenes of that accuser, where they were like, okay, you need to like keep his name out of your mouth. But the more research that I do, Lucian Grainge is behind a lot of what's going on in mainstream music right now. He's the head of UMG, which is one of the 3 biggest music groups. And Thomas, I know you dabble in music. You know the music industry, and I know you like hip hop and all that stuff. But we were talking about this last week. This beef between Lamar and Drake was like one of the most publicized beefs ever, right? Like when you go back to Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem, it wasn't as publicized as this.
They're so lame. They're all lame. Every single
exactly. But here's the thing about this particular beef:
Machine Gun Kelly versus Eminem. What else? Okay,
I know, but
I mean, it's Machine Gun Kelly, guys.
Exactly. My thing is that in this beef, all the response songs were coming right after the other, and it came out like this is like a ploy to kind of get sales records, and so just like wrestling, bro, like set it up, make the people believe it. In the back end, people are just like laughing in their face. Ha ha ha. We made money off of y'all. But this is, it's huge because the connection with Drake and Lucian is because Drake is Jewish and Lucian Grainge is Jewish as well. Right. And Drake recently signed a $500 million deal with Universal. And there was a video that surfaced from like a decade ago where Drake was praising Lucian Grainge and that and he was talking about the conversation that he had with Lucian Grainge. And the conversation was like, you're going to be huge. And this was when Drake was starting, you're going to be huge because the Jews are going to love you. Our people are going to love you. And our people are going to buy your music. Fast forward to where we're at now, you can see where he's at. So there's a lot of favoritism going on. I don't know if the whole, Diddy, Lucian Grainge financing those parties are legit or not, but it's a lot to kind of like raise your eyebrow at. What do you think of this, Danny?
First of all, why are we talking about a kid who was a Degrassi star?
I mean, he is one of the biggest artists in the world. So
no. I mean,
Tupac started in theater. Right?
No, I get it, but it's like at least it was theater. The dude did some movies, right? But like this dude did a teenage TV show where he was killed off,
and yet he has a 500.
Does that give you street
no,
cred,
I'm not hating on his success.
To die and come back from the dead. That's the hardest thing a rapper could do.
All I'm saying is like outside, like before we get into the conspiracy theory of all this, right? It's Drake, guys. Like nobody's ever taken Drake seriously as a rapper. Like his songs are fun, but I don't know anybody who's ever like actually liked Drake or been to a Drake concert ever took him seriously enough to be like, yeah, he's a legit rapper. It's like, no, he's from freaking Canada.
Their girlfriends will.
Oh, he's from Canada, dude. No, I don't take anybody seriously that comes from Canada, unless he's a comedian. Okay. I don't take anybody seriously. Listen, if you're from Canada, I love you guys, but like, unless you're a hockey player or a comedian, I don't take you seriously, especially if you're a rapper. Okay. And the connections with Diddy, Lucian Grainge makes me think that Drake, like I've thought for many years, is an industry plant, right? Like he's the chosen one out of this group of people of his generation to be the guy they're just gonna pour money into and let him do all the weird stuff. And Drake has done a really good job for the most part to stay out of trouble until now, with the connections with Diddy, with the connection with Lucian Grainge, and all this stuff that's happening, and him trying to go bar for bar with a legit rapper compared to himself. It's like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing?
He started smoking his own supply, I think is what happened.
Bro, like what he did, first of all, when he started messing with his dragon on Twitter was his first mistake, you know. But like at the end of the day, it's still Drake. I can't take it seriously.
There's a great joke that came out of this one. and I didn't make this one up. I read it, and it's the most hilarious thing. But what does Drake and his victims have in common?
Oh God, what?
They're all 16.
They're both still learning how to write.
Oh,
damn. Shit's wild though. That shit is wild. But I mean, that kind of shows you like how powerful these people are, because the accuser named Lucian Grainge in this whole situation. Days later, his name is dropped from the lawsuit. So that just kind of shows you, like, no, keep your name out of his mouth. But that also kind of makes me think Lucian Grainge's got to be pretty well connected within the groups, right? He has to be.
I think there's silver lining here, because if we were having this conversation before Epstein scandal came out and like everyone's grandparents and parents heard about it, so there's a frame of reference, this would be such a weird, far-fetched sounding thing and it would be so abstract that it would be really easy to just ignore and be like, there's no way that happened. Just next, what's the next story coming out? But now that we've got Epstein, and because of how Epstein went down, anyone that cares is probably like, man, there's some weird stuff going on. So now when someone's like, oh yeah, this like Puff Daddy is he's the hip hop Epstein, just by being able to say that, it explains like 4 years worth of context that you would have to get someone up to speed on. And I think that there's like a silver lining to that now you can be like, oh yeah, Diddy, hip hop Epstein, Lucian Grainge, like he's involved. He might be sort of like Ghislaine Maxwell of, and just being able to have that analogy off the cuff and have someone understand it, I think puts us way ahead of where we would have been if this came out in like the early 2000s.
Now, let me ask you this, right? With all this that's going on, I said last week, you know, obviously in tongue in cheek, that this is the Black community and the hip hop community is kind of just biting off the white people scandals now, just to get some play.
White people have been biting off their music so much, they're like
we're just gonna bite off their scandals now, right? But like in all seriousness, if this is like okay, Hollywood and people in power, like it's nothing new to have sex parties. It's nothing new to throw ragers of this kind, and this is the best. I sent Jose this clip, I think was earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, play that.
This really encapsulates everything that's going on with this.
Play that.
In LA has had their home robbed, except Diddy. And I thought about it, it's like, bro, robbing Diddy is terrifying, because what if he's there? You break down the door, he's butt naked on the couch. Meek Mill sitting on his lap. Meek Mill crying, oh no, wait a minute, I thought you was finished. You try to run out, the door is locked. You turn around, all of a sudden you hear, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere.
I'm just saying, he is an American treasure. Andrew, shout out to Andrew Schultz.
Is great.
Andrew Schultz is an American treasure. He is what a comedian should be. He is the realest comedian in the game right now. That right there. Did you see the way he roasted?
This is how the Drake Kendrick debate started. Is someone was trying to call top two?
No. There is no top two. He is the greatest comedian alive right now. And you know how I know that? His roast of freaking Tom Brady. Did you see what he did in the roast of Tom Brady? Holy crap.
Some say that roast was a humiliation ritual. Are roasts considered humiliation rituals?
Yeah, that's the whole point of even the original Friars roast. But also, we were saying before about like Joe Rogan, and like that's kind of the controlled op, or here's how you respond. I kind of feel that way with the roast of Tom Brady or any other massively produced roast that has Hyundai commercials in between. Like that's the version of what mainstream media wants to show us as, okay, now here's, if you want to be edgy, here's the line. This is what edgy is. So you can like feel free to do this stuff, but don't go over this line. Like that's almost the instructions, right? That's a line on the road for us to follow.
All right, here we go. 1 second, I got it for you guys.
What do you got?
1 second, I got it for you guys. This was bad. He calls out Diddy and all that in this thing.
Yeah, but don't worry, I'm sure he has someone secretly recording this so we can watch the whole thing later. Okay. Bill is secretly filmed more guys playing for the other team than Diddy.
Oh no.
Damn.
Can Diddy ever come back from this, or is he just gone forever now?
I think he can never
think
come
he's
back
gone,
into this
bro.
country. Apparently,
I don't think we hear from him ever again.
No.
What about Drake? Is Drake
Nah, Drake's
gone,
protected,
or
bro.
Drake is gonna be fine. Drake
protected, bro.
Drake will go away for about a year and then he'll drop a hot album on like early 2026 or something and he'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I don't think anything good's gonna come out for Diddy. You know what? And I'm gonna be bold about this, but he might end up being unalived later. I don't know.
I don't know. The fact of the matter that he escaped the country moments before everything happened, and that a lot of his inner circle are at least arrested. I don't know what's happened since then.
are his whereabouts known?
I don't know. I
Do we
don't
need
know.
a Diddy tracker?
We do need a Diddy tracker. We do need a Diddy
Did somebody
tracker.
develop one
But-
already?
But like, it's funny because Diddy actually pulled a very similar play than that director did. Remember when that director got
Roman Polanski, yeah.
Roman Polanski?
Which is a crazy story because that happened at Jack Nicholson's house, and the girl was procured by Jack Nicholson for Roman Polanski, but nobody cares about Jack Nicholson. They only cared about Roman. It's a wild story to get into. Anyway, sorry, tangent over.
but it's a very similar situation, right? Where Roman Polanski, he's never been back in the country since the allegation.
Well,
right?
maybe. I
That
mean,
we
there
may know of.
have
I
been.
mean-
I'm pretty sure there've been photos of him like on Rodeo, like shopping and shit. So like, he might have been here and just he's got the connections to get here, and then he just leaves again.
But either way, Diddy does have enough money, we know, and he does have enough connections to be that type of person where he comes and goes, but is never long enough in the country to be flagged.
Well, and I mean, I
way.
know Brazilian families that send their family members to the U.S. to buy jeans and iPhones and send them back home. So, I mean, if there's like working class Brazilians that can do that, Diddy's definitely got. Like, he was sending Dylon to get cake, right? So, I mean, he's got run boys.
I don't know.
I mean, if he wants a bunch of Brazilians, he can come to Orlando. There's tons of them.
Yeah, right around International Drive.
Right on International Drive.
Jesus.
All right, guys. I want to do something new today, and I'm going to bite off of your segment that you have on your podcast, Thomas. You got the PCP at the end, so we're going to do a little
Okay.
modified version of it. We're just going to do a quick speed round questions here because I want to get to know you some more, bro. I want to get to know you. We know we're friends. We live here, so we get to see each other and stuff like that. So we're going to do some quick rounds, and feel free if you have like a question, feel free to just jump in and ask in. All right, bro. So here we go. Flat Earth. Where you
Are we
at?
doing
on
1
that?
to 10?
Yeah, 1 to 10.
1.
1. Danny?
1.
All right, cool. Bigfoot.
3.
5.
All right. Aliens.
2.
8.5.
Ooh, okay. But why do you say 8.5?
Because, and goes more towards my spiritual beliefs, what some people call aliens, I think, are demonic creatures from another dimension. Now, do I know this for a fact? No, which is why it's an 8.5, but I strongly believe that it's real.
All right, then that leads into the other one, demonic possession.
1.
10.
What? 1. So bro, you spit that so sure, bro. You don't believe in demons?
10.
Not really, man. I think the best way that I've had someone describe it, which doesn't perfectly describe my aspect of it, but it's like if you're on this plane and you don't want to leave this plane, and an angel comes down and tries to take your soul out of your body, and like, we're going to heaven, it's almost like if your cat had like a splinter in its gums and you had to be the one that opens up the cat's mouth and takes that splinter out. Like, you're a demon to that cat in that moment. Like, even if it loves you and you love it and you would never do anything wrong, like, you are a demon to it because it doesn't want to go, and it doesn't understand what it's going through. So it's the same thing. Like, the human brain, I don't think, would be able to discern the difference between a demon and an angel in those cases. But even if you could, I don't think demons exist. I think that it's just a fabric of people's imaginations, and it's, at worst, it's an excuse. It's like, oh, I didn't do that, it was the demon. Oh, that person that I know and love didn't do that, it was a demon. I think it's the ultimate freaking, like, it's just a cheat code.
Danny, I know you feel strongly about this.
I think it's 100% real. I don't think it's a cop out to say that demons are real. I think it's your actions open up the portal in your soul to allow those things in that will take control of yourself. For example, right? There are people's personalities that, are more prone to, for example, drug addiction, right? Let's just use that as an example. The first couple of times it becomes a choice and it's a fun thing to do. But when you're in an altered state, you don't know what your body and what your mind and spirit are open to receiving. Your wavelength changes. And I believe in those moments, the principalities and the powers that we cannot completely understand and explain, and there's good and evil in the world. I think there's also good and evil in the other realm, whatever that other realm is, can have an opportunity to come into this one through a person. And I've seen it happen personally. Now, you don't have to believe it, but that's what I believe. And I believe that certain actions of the individual, let it be, becoming obsessed with art or watching too much porn or whatever that thing is, or whatever that vice is that starts off as like, oh, this is fun. I think it could easily become the demon in which something attaches it. That is the thing that the demon attaches itself to. That's why I think they say I'm exercising my demons. I think it's a thing.
All right.
I mean, I believe in addictions, and I believe in like people getting addicted to things and it like controlling them. Like, if we talk about a demon in a metaphorical or like an allegorical sense, then yeah, I can see that. But as like an actual demon, I almost feel like it's a coping mechanism to convince ourselves that even though we see someone doing horrible things in the world and excelling and not getting called out on it and not facing any repercussions that we feel would be just, it's like a coping mechanism to be like, well, God will get them, or like the demons will get them when they die. That's when it'll. I think that there's maybe an unfortunate reality that people in this world do horrible, terrible things, and there's really no repercussion if they don't feel the repercussion themselves. If they're like a psychopath. I don't know if there's like an eternal bad boy punishment where they just get spanked for eternity, which is the implication of demons. Like, demons would be attached to you and your family line, and it just seems too nice and neat, and it doesn't reflect any other type of justice that we've ever experienced.
I don't know. That's what I believe.
It's all good, bro. What about astral projection? You believe in astral projection?
I'll give it a 3.
I'm gonna give it 100% 10 because I have personally astral projected. I have.
Well, so what's the difference between astral projection and lucid dreaming? Because to me, astral projection means you're like literally walking around on a planet or a moon, or you're in outer space.
Yeah, so I'll tell you my experience, and this is just my experience, and you guys can take it for however you want. But when I experienced my astral projection, it started off with my entire body vibrating. It started with just, and then I felt my entire body lift from the bed, and then I turn around and I see myself literally sleeping and laying down.
That's creepy.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay. Well, also, I was trying to do it because I had watched a movie. I forgot which movie.
Probably Insidious.
Yeah, Insidious. I'd seen Insidious. I'm like, well, I want to astral project. And I had read about astral projection and had seen videos on astral projection on how to astral project. So I was like practicing and try see if I could do it. And then this one time I actually did it. And it was freaky because it just felt like my entire body was just levitating out of my body. I felt like I was literally being pulled out of my body. Then I saw myself, and then I just kind of floated around into the house, and then I went back to sleep. But I didn't like go flying around the planet or to a different realm or anything like that. But that was my experience. I stayed local. I didn't go venture out into another.
I don't know if I would count that, man. I don't know if that counts as astral projection. But that I would say that's an out of body experience.
He wants hardcore proof.
I do. That's kind of my thing.
Core.
You want to see my spirit leave my body. You want that captured on camera.
No, I guess I'm a very much a stickler because my background is like a computer programming and software engineering. So to me, the difference between an if and an and or an or is like all the difference in the world. Even if you're in electronics, like a logic gate between an or and an and is all the difference in the world, and it can make or break you, right? But I kind of believe that astral projection is different than an out-of-body experience, and what you describe as out-of-body experience, and I definitely think those exist. The astral projection in my mind takes it to a whole extra level where it's like you actually go into the real outer space.
I agree with Thomas on this, Jose, right? Because when you said astral projection, I'm thinking of the men who stare at goats.
Right? Or even 11, where she like knows where the Russian dude is because
exactly.
Like,
so like astral projection, if we're gonna go off at least traditional conspiracy theory thinking, it's like men who stare at goats, or like, hey, well, I saw this thing in this room with a blue pen and a man who's wearing a gray suit and he's going to be walking with a slight limp on his leg. I don't know if that's real. I'll be honest with you. Like that type of astral projection, I don't know if that's real.
Wouldn't that be like considered like remote viewing too?
Yeah.
Yes, but like
that could be proved in theory, although I don't know if it's ever been sufficiently proved outside of undisclosed, top secret, leaked, blacked out documents. But if you claim that you could astral project or remote view, then James Randi had this thing. It was called the Randi Challenge, and I don't think anyone's ever really succumbed to it. But that if you say that you can do this thing, they're like, okay, let's put you in a controlled environment. We'll have you analyzed by cameras and scientists, and you do it and read what this person's wearing. How are they walking? And almost always it's like, oh, it doesn't work like that. Well, it's convenient that it never works in a way that's observable by a repeatable like scientific method.
But just for the record, my number is more like a 5.5, maybe a 6 on that.
That's
so I'm not convinced it's possible. Do I think it's possible? Maybe, but I'm not convinced.
All right, guys. Well, this has been an amazing episode. Thanks for coming on to the show again, Thomas. We really appreciate you. Where can the people find you so they can buy your stuff, so they can follow you, so they can get the adultoccult.com stuff?
Pause before he answers that. Is J-Lo an industry plant for Selena? Yes or no?
I think she would like to be, but I don't think she is. She would love to be. I think she might even gotten back with Ben Affleck just so that she could have a chance to be the industry plant. But I think she missed her calling on that. She started as a dancer for In Living Color, right? That's where
she also played Selena in a movie.
Yeah, she was a fly girl.
That's right. The Selena, man. So she was maybe like a proxy sacrifice, right? Like Selena was the real sacrifice, but she was like the fake sacrifice.
All right, plug your stuff.
Plug your stuff in, bro.
Adultoccult.com. That's the new come find out what's losing me friends by the bucket loads every day at adultoccult.com. And I promise that's not all I'm doing now. That's like this one thing that I decided to do for 1 month, and it's going to come out. It's going to be awesome. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, I've got 100 other projects that have nothing to do with adult. What a great pinup though, right? Like this series,
dude, I'm gonna get that tattooed on my back.
The series has phenomenal artwork in it, and don't be scared. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, you got the pentagram with the Baphomet on there, and then
you got Kiss at the top. It's great.
Yeah. Well, this is the 80s Satanic Panic pinup. That was the whole idea. And there's like the Dungeons and Dragons book and like the chair, I think. Because that's what people were scared of, right? think about what people were terrified of Satan bringing in the 80s versus the 90s versus now. It's kind of like slowly evolving. But here's all my other stuff. Chosen One, MK Ultra, Paranoid American History, Time Samplers is about time traveling conspiracy theorists that look into the Titanic and the Federal Reserve, and HAARP, which is in issue 1. We talk about HAARP and the V2K voice to skull technology. Chaos Twins of Sam Tripoli's Secret Mystery School, which is about stoner philosophers. Fiction Faction, which is like a coffee table book that's got 60 different pages of little short sort of like periodicals. Connect the Dots is a children's book about chemtrails. Frazzle Drip Funhouse is the one that has to only be sold into the adult section because it's really disgusting and over the top and gore. We got stickers, we got shirts, we got toys, we got games, we got music. Go on to any of the online Spotify's and TikToks and search for Sound Scientists. And I've got song.
Do you still have the homunculus play sets?
So they were only available for people that back the Chosen One, and once those books ship out next month, whatever homunculus growing kits I've got left, I'll make them available, but it might only be to like the next Kickstarter campaign. So we'll see. We made a total of I think 50, and I'm pretty sure over 30 of them are gone now, so there'll be like 15 left.
This is awesome.
Get all your occult stuff at paranoidamerican.com, guys. Show the support. Make sure you buy yourself a comic book. Get yourself some stickers and posters. And also check out the new stuff at adultoccult.com. Not that we're endorsing it, but we endorse Thomas. And, we want to make sure you thrive, bro. So,
it's filth.
Yes, go. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today's show. We thank you so much. Make sure you follow us.
Make sure you follow us on all platforms since Jose's mic just went off, guys. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube, all this other stuff.
Is my mic out?
It went out for a minute.
Oh, it went out for a minute? Yeah, just make sure you follow. Yeah, keep going, Danny. Keep going. You got this.
Don't forget to do our supporters club, $3 a month, guys. Give us a 5-star review on all platforms. Help us grow, and YouTube, continue to comment, and we will be interacting with you guys. Till next time, next week, Jose and I will be back.
We'll see ya. We love you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.